This week on the Film Academy, we dive into my camera bag and take a look at what equipment I use on a regular basis. Welcome to the Little Film Academy. This week we are diving into my camera bag to take a look at all the equipment I use on a regular basis. In the channel update last week, I did ask you guys if you wanted to see a video like this, and it was a resounding yes, you wanted to see a video, so here it is. But before I start, let me just make something clear. I'm not making this video to brag. This equipment, everything that I've accumulated over time has come over a long period of time, a good few years. When I started filmmaking, I just had my iPhone 5S and a old tripod that we got with a telescope that I used to just jimmy the iPhone in there and slide it in. Half the time it would fall down and nearly break. But that's just to show that you don't need a DSLR, you don't need a camcorder, you don't need a big fancy camera or a big boom pole with a dead cat microphone, all that stuff just to make a film. All you need is this, your brain. And it may sound cheesy, but it's true, guys. I kept telling myself the entire time that you need to get through stages. First with the phone, then with the camcorder, now with the DSLR, and I'm privileged to have bought one. But I've accumulated all of this gear over time, and I think you guys should do the same. Don't think that you need to get all this gear just to make something successful. Because I'm not even successful. I wouldn't call myself successful. I'm a really tiny channel, just doing tutorials and short films and stuff like that, and I'm sure you guys are doing the same. But what I'm trying to say is that whatever you have in your home, use that. If you've got a phone, use that. If you've got an old camcorder and an old DSLR, use that. And from there, you build upon that, and slowly but surely, trust me guys, you will get all the equipment you ever want, and next thing you know, you'll have a red camera. Okay, maybe not, but you get the point. Okay, enough chit chat, let's get into this video. So basically, let's start with the bag. Now this bag over here is a Canon bag, as you can see on the branding there. And it's called a Canon I'm not sure what it's called, I'll put the name right over there. But that's the name of the bag, so no one really cares about the bag. It's got really nice pockets, and I'm sure you'll see throughout the video. It's got these nice water bottle patches on the side, so that's nice. So basically in this compartment I keep all of my smaller things that I'm gonna, like the small consumables like batteries and filters and all sorts of things like that I might need to use but maybe not need to use, well, except for the battery of course. Most of the stuff is always inside this bag when I go out to shoot things, but if I'm at home like shooting the YouTube videos and the tutorials and stuff, Let's Effects, then it's all in one cupboard, and like it's that cupboard over there. I just pack everything out so I have easy access to it, but when I am going on a shoot, I chuck everything in here, make sure it's all organized, and then go. So let's check out this first compartment. First thing I have in this compartment is just a standard notebook. You never know when you're going to need to write down some ideas, so a notebook is always handy, and to go with that I have a pen. Now those are just the random things in the pack, but continuing along, we also have there's two zipper compartments here. The first one, I have a whole bunch of these AA batteries, and that's because my light needs AA batteries, and you'll see the light later on. So I've got about like 7 of these batteries. I do want to buy a Canon LPE6 battery, I think it is, because the light does also take those, but until I work up to that, these batteries do just fine. Moving on to the second zip, we have the battery. I keep my battery for my DSLR. You won't see the DSLR and the microphone's over there because they're busy shooting this video as I'm speaking, of course, but I do have some references that I'll show you where they go when we get there. But over here is the case for the battery. Batteries of course inside the camera, but when it's not, I keep them in here. I don't have an extra battery, I only have one battery. I've told myself that when I'm on a shoot and I run out of a battery power, then I might invest in another battery, because right now there's really no need for me. The last thing in this compartment is this little case over here. Now this didn't come with the bag, it's a separate case, and I basically keep all of my audio gear in this case. So that includes the microphone, which is over there. I'll actually show you a shot of the microphone over there on the tripod, as well as the SC7 cable. The SC7, I have the box here. This is the SC7 cable. It's basically a retrofit cable made by Rode that you can plug into your Video Micro, Video Mic Pro, whatever, and then the next part can lead back into your iPhone or your iPad, and that's what I use to record the sound separately instead of from the camera. But sometimes it's a bit too short, so I also have this one, which is the SC1 cable. I don't know if that's in focus. The Rode SC1 cable, and that's basically just an extension for the SC7 cable. But besides those cables, I also have the standard cable for the external microphone to go into the camera, and that also stays in here. So basically all those cables, the microphone, the mount for the microphone, and any other audio gear that I have, which is none right now, that stays inside this bag. Okay, now I can move on to the big mama, the big daddy compartment. This is where the crux of all my gear stays. It is my safe haven, as you would call it, since everything is inside this compartment. Right now I'll show you, I'll superimpose a top view of this, just so you can see how it looks before I ransack it apart. Okay, you've seen that. Now let's start with this compartment over here. Normally over here I'll keep my iPad. That is of course recording the sound right now, so it's not there. And then in these two little compartments over here, I have my SD cards. So I have a number 1 SD card, as well as a number 2 SD card, and that one is busy capturing this video. First top compartment done. In this compartment, this is where all the main things are. So let's start from this side. In this first little pocket over here, I have my first lens. Now this is the Canon 50mm EF lens. I call it the Nifty 50, as most people call it. But the Nifty 50 is it's a really cool lens. This is the lower range Nifty 50. It's a 1.8. This one is a really close cropped in lens because it's 50mm. You can't zoom, you can only focus. But the thing that this does is gives a lot of light. It opens up a lot of light, and because of that low aperture, so you don't need to use the ISO. You need to have external lights and stuff like that, because this one does a lot of that. But it also can give you a nice blurry background if you're into that sort of things. The only problem with this lens, the only downside I have, is that especially when I'm filming in this room on that set for Reds Effects, I can't really use it because I had to push the camera all the way back, and sometimes I need to, if I want to use this, I'd basically have to take the camera outside. I haven't done that because that's crazy, but that's the case because it's really cropped in. But it's definitely a specialty lens that comes in handy when you're in a dark environment, and I actually used it to shoot my short film. And when that comes out, you'll see there's a lot of low light shots in that film, and that's why I used this lens, because it can give a lot of light. Okay, let's put that. Don't want to put that over there. Let's put it back inside the bag. Moving on to the next compartment over here, we have the charger. This is just the battery charger. I keep this just in case someone's set and the battery, runs out, because I don't have an extra one. That doesn't happen to me though. Over here, this is the cover for the camera when the lens is not on it, and this, we'll stop that. And this is the cover for the back of the lens, whichever lens I'm using. So these go nicely together like that. That's that compartment done. In this compartment, I know I said I store all my audio gear in that other bag, but I do have my dead cat. His name is Rufus. I'm joking, his name's not Rufus. But yeah, my dead cat, this goes on top of the microphone in order to prevent wind noise, especially when you're outside or if the microphone is really close. When I'm recording narrations for the tutorials, then I pop this onto my microphone so I don't get any of those peas popping or any of the wind from my mouth interrupting the sound. That was a real problem in season 1 of Reds Effects, but this bad boy fixed it right up. Okay, moving on to this side of here, I have this cleaning cloth, just a random cleaning cloth to wipe the lens or whatever I'm using. It's just a random thing to have. And this is my biggest lens here, this one over here. This lens I keep because I'm very OCD about these things breaking, so I put it in this type of whatever it's called that it came in. So this is the Canon 75 to 300mm zoom lens. Now this lens is a very specialty lens. I haven't really used this that much, because especially when you're zoomed in and you're going handheld, first of all, this thing pokes out like a beast. It like really pokes out. It feels like your camera's gonna fall and it's gonna lopside because it's leaning towards the lens. Also, if you're zoomed in, it looks very shaky because of that zoomed look. But this is definitely good for capturing sports, especially for photography, not for video. I wouldn't recommend that this is on a tripod. If you want to capture like the moon or something very far in the distance, this is definitely good for that. I'm still waiting for a use of this thing where I can use it in daily life, but it's good to have a specialty lens. That thing came with the camera, so I don't think I would especially go and buy it unless I really needed it, and then I'd probably rent it. But it's nice to have, and it did come with the camera. Moving on to the last section over here. I know it's sad, it's coming over. This is the cable for the charger. So nothing special about that. And this over here is a mount for my light. When we get to the light, I will show you that. But this thing has got 2 shoe mounts on both sides, so one, but they also have both tripod mounts and light stand mounts, so you can slide the one into your light and the other one in top of your camera, or you can screw your tripod into there. And it also has got like a nice little gizmo on here, so you can adjust the angle of it. Moving on, I also have a few of these. Where I come from, we call them pegs. Where you come from, they might be called something else. In the filmmaking business, they're called C47s because, you know, we've got to sound cool. We can't say, hand me that peg, because it just sounds bad. These also I haven't used that much, but I did use it a few times. They do come in handy for clipping gels onto lights. My light doesn't really need gels, but it's also good for securing wires, especially if you have a lot of wires, like especially with this SE1 cable. It's 6 meters long, so it's definitely a very long wire. So when you want to secure this to a tripod or light stand or a boom pole even, that's really good for cable management. These do come in handy, and I have about just 4 of these in here. The final thing is my light. Now my light, I have 2 filters for it. The first one is this clear, like frosted type of filter for diffusion, and the other one is on the light, so when you see that, again, OCD, so I have this soft wrapping all over it so it doesn't get damaged. That over there. That's just the light basically. Now this is the filter I'm saying on it. It's basically a standard LED light. I think this one is 168 bulbs, and it's made by a company called Photix, something like that. You may have seen this recently in the Red Effects episodes. I've been using this. I use it a lot in my film. It was a staple of my film. If I didn't have this, the film would have fallen apart. I can actually show you how bright it is if I turn it on and add the batteries. But these lights LEDs are definitely the way the filmmaking industry is going nowadays, because it's really cheap to light your film with an LED, because the LEDs themselves don't cost that much. I mean, I've seen ones as low as $30 on Amazon. Unfortunately, Amazon doesn't ship to where I live, so I bought one from a local dealer, you could say. Where are these batteries going? Come on. Here we go. Oh, success. The light is on. So one of the batteries, this one seems to be dead. I definitely have to replace those. But this light, as you can see, if I just turn it on, this is at its lowest capacity and it's lighting me that much. But if I turn it all the way up, you can see really how bright that is. I mean, it can probably light this entire area. I'm sorry if I blinded you by that. So this light definitely comes in handy. If you have it like off to the side, it can be like a nice full light or something like that. By the way, this is not sponsored by this company. I can't even remember the name of this company. It's just a really neat thing to have. It's nice and tiny, compact, and as I said, with this mount, you can just slide it in and then it goes onto, I'm looking at the display, it goes onto a tripod. But that's it for this Film Academy episode. I hope you've enjoyed this video. It might be a bit long. I can see on the time code it's quite long. Another lens that I didn't show you was the one that is on my camera now. It's the standard 18 to 55mm lens. That is a really underused, underappreciated lens for people. I was under the impression, wrong impression, when I started using my DSLR, that the kit lens is nonsense. But this lens is super wide, guys. This camera is almost right in my face right now, but you can see this entire shot. Whereas with something like the Nifty 50 or something, or the even more zoomed in 75 300mm zoom lens, where the camera is now, you'll be seeing my nose. So the show would be hosted by my nose. That's just another tidbit. These videos were a really big trend a while ago, what's in my bag videos. So I want to make them a trend again. So therefore I challenge Chauffeur from Inkscape Digital, Chauffeur Valbar, to do a what's in my camera bag video. Chauffeur, we want to see what's in your camera bag. So everybody watching this video, go into his channel, onto his latest video, in his comments, and say, show us your camera bag, hashtag red alert. That should be fun. If you don't know who Chauffeur is, I'll leave a link to his channel in the description. But yeah, buddy, if you're watching this video, I want to see what's in your camera bag. I want to see your process if you have the time. I doubt he's gonna take me up on that, but we'll see how that goes. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you in the next one.